conditions. What's going on here?
I'm going to sit.
Huh?
Lots of froth.
Can't hear you. Go on, shout at me.
Froth.
Froth. All right. Okay. So the froth. Yeah. So there's a bit more froth. So there's more dissolved load, basically. That's what I would say. There's more stuff dissolved in the water. Check out these leaves that have just kind of built up, one after the other, little sandwich. Dislodge them. There we go. There's loads of leaves still in the water, breaking down. Lots of organic material. That could be due to more leaves, but it could also be more likely due to the extra water that's come in after those two tributaries have joined the river. What other features can you see? Yeah, much wider, isn't it? We could try and estimate the width, if you like, by eye. We've got a metre here. It's a lot wider than Site 1, isn't it? So we're at Juggaer Beck. If you haven't written that, Juggaer Beck is the second site. About 2.5 kilometres from the source. Certainly is wider. What other features have we got going on? Yeah, it does look like it's flowing faster. It's still very straight. I'm looking straight under the bridge and I can see Johnny, the other tutor, stood right in the river at the very top there. So we've got a very straight section of river. So again, indicating what kind of erosion. It's still vertical erosion there. Still cutting down into what? Yeah, it is. It is still a V-shaped valley. Certainly on this side, nice slope going off there. There's a kind of a flatter area here, but then there is a V on the other side. So we've got a kind of strange flat area that's appeared. Some people might sort of argue that that could be a new feature that's starting to appear as we move down the course of the river. What would you get as you move down the river? Well done, yeah, it's rosy, isn't it? Yeah, floodplain, yeah. So it's possible it's a floodplain. This river maybe will flood over there. But in fact, all these valleys weren't created by these little piddly rivers flowing in the bottom. It was actually the glacial meltwater back when the climate changed 10,000 years ago that actually formed a lot of these valleys, but the rivers are now cutting down into them. Anything else that you can see? Rocks. Think about the rocks. We looked at the rocks last time. What do you think? Yeah, they're still fairly large, aren't they? There's less maybe sticking out in the channel. There's one there, there's one sort of here, there's a few there. On the whole, most of them are now submerged, so that might be smaller rocks or it might be a deeper river. One of the things you're going to have to be careful with here is when you do your transect. So I'm going to go along and check for you where it's sort of safe and accessible for you to work, but we might be having to be bunched up a little bit, so there might be a group next to you. Anything else going on the river banks themselves? Any features of the river bank? Yeah, they are. They're a lot steeper. It's a bit more of a cliff now, isn't it? You've got a bit of a drop straight down. So we're starting to see more erosion, maybe of the river bank. If you look over there by that tree, there's other evidence that there's erosion on the sides of the bank. So a bit of lateral erosion as well as vertical. What's going on over that side? You spot you keen-eyed geographers where that tree is coming down. What do you think, Oliver? Something is exposed. Some part of the trees are missing. The roots. So we've got exposed roots, which indicates that the soil has eroded. It's been taken by the water most likely when it was at higher condition. We've also got interesting elements to the velocity here too. Most of it is flowing straight down. But then notice just in front of that tree root there, some of the velocity is actually, some people say negative, but it's going backwards, isn't it? You can see there's like a little whirlpool. Wouldn't be enough to sink a battle ship in, but there's certainly a rotating water. You can tell that with the white foam that's on top there. So that is called an eddy. So we've got eddies forming. It's just a circular motion. Sometimes you get it with the wind, forms these little whirlwinds, these little eddies. So there's some water there that's being sort of rotated by the moving water going past, so it sort of sets up this strange process. So you might have fast velocity, but you also have very, very slow velocity as well. The land use either side is just as it was before. Recreational land was still on the North York Moors, there's still sheep grazing, but footpaths, walking, the main land use. Finally, maybe I'd draw your eyes down towards where the foam is. I'm not really interested in the foam so much as what's next to it or behind it. Yeah, what was that?
Tree.
Yeah, there's the tree that's kind of fallen in, so maybe evidence that there's some erosion there from the banks. And what's caught around the tree, as well as the foam that's been caught by it, yeah, the leaves. Now the leaves are actually much higher than the river, but what's gone on is something like this. These leaves, as they travel down, some get caught behind the leaves and start building up a bit of a wedge. And that's what's happened there. There's been leaves that have been brought down and started to build up and kind of deposited on that tree. But have you noticed they're much higher than the water level is currently? So what does that indicate to you about the discharge here? Recently. Go on, Ellie, yeah. It's been higher recently, yeah. These leaves don't last all year. They're probably this year's leaf fall. So in the last few months, this river, probably less than the last month, this river has been a lot higher, possibly the height of the top of those leaves. So that's almost like a little strand line, like you would get on the beach when the waves come in, highest tide, and then they deposit all the seaweed and all the driftwood, and then they go out. You're left with this strand line at the top marking the high tide, and that kind of marks the highest discharge of recent times, anyway, all those leaves on the top there. Cool. We're going to measure, I think, before lunch, alright? We'll try and stick you